Hello class, and welcome to Notes 6.5, Slope-Intercept Form. I know the top is a little cut off, so you'll just have to trust me that it says 6.5. Our standard that you need to write down is Algebra and Function 3.3. Our objective today is to write and graph equations in slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form is the linear equation y equals mx plus b. We already know that m stands for the slope. Now, the new one that we have is b is the y-intercept. The reason why we don't use y is we already have a y in the problem up in the front. Okay, we heard this a little bit in the song by Colin Dodds on 6.4 activity. You may want to listen to that song again. Towards the end, they talk about slope-intercept form. So what we're looking at is an easier way to graph problems. So it asks us to find the slope and the y-intercept of the equation. Now remember, if I don't have a number here, I can write a 1 in front of the x. So the m, or the slope, is the number that's in front of the x. So that would be -1. And the b is the number that is at the end after the addition sign. And you may have to skip change so that you get an addition sign. So m is -1, the slope. B, y-intercept, is 7. Okay. On this problem here, we actually have to do a little solving of the equation in order to get them in the proper form. So we're going to start by adding 9x to both sides. That way these cancel out. And we'll have 3y equals 9x plus -6. And notice I kept it as addition because we have, we want it in the form y equals mx plus b. I want the constant at the end, and this is what we talked about a bit last week, that you need to start working on getting the constant at the end. So instead of doing -6 plus 9x, we flip it around. Now we need to get the y by itself, so we divide both sides by 3. And of course, 9 divided by 3 is 3. -6 divided by 3 is -2. Okay, and finally, we can find our m and our b. The m, again, is the number between the equal sign and the x, so in this case it's 3. And the b is the number after the addition sign. So if you wrote this as -2, you'd need to change it, skip change, plus -2. So you know that that's your b. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take it one step further and graph it. So first we need to find our m and our b, which of course m is 1/4, b is 5. And then we can start by plotting the 5, which is the y-intercept, which means it crosses the y-axis at 5, so the ordered pair is 0, 5. Okay, and let me go ahead and put a point on here for you. Let's see if it'll let me today. Right there at 0, 5. Okay, and next up, I am going to, the slope is 1/4. Remember, it's the rise over the run. Rise over run. Listen to that song again if you need to. So I can come rise up 1. My denominator is 4, so I run across 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can do that again, up 1 over 4. And I can do this as many times as I need to. Okay, as you can see, I'm going to run out of space. And then finally, I can connect my points. Let's see if I can draw a straight enough line. There we go. Oh, that line should have arrows on it. Let's see. I can't see what these look like, so I'll have to see what they come up with. Okay, well, make sure your line has arrows on it. Mine, unfortunately, the computer won't let me draw arrows right now. It's being a little difficult. Okay, so there you go. That should be your finished graph. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and have you try it. Please go on to Student Practice 1. Find the m and the b, the slope and the y-intercept, and then graph them. Okay, let's go ahead and see how you did. Hopefully you found that the m was 4 and the b was 3. Now notice 4 isn't written as a fraction, and this is where I was warning you. You're going to start leaving those fractions improper or having to turn whole numbers into fractions. So of course, if we turn this into a fraction, it'd be 4 over 1. So I start my point at 3, I go up 4 over 1. I could also put 2 negatives in there and make it a double negative, which is the same thing as a positive. Down 4, backwards 1. Down 4, backwards 1. Okay. Problem 2, I did have to subtract x from both sides. and then divide both sides by -1 in order to get the correct formula. Now, I have my -8 is my y-intercept, and again my 1, if I turn it into a fraction, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, my rise over my run. Okay, go ahead, I have 2 more for you. Go ahead and try these out and graph them. Make sure you press pause and press play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, let's see how you did. Here we have no b. There's nothing there, so it would be like saying plus nothing. So that means I cross my y-axis at 0, and now I go down 2 over 3. Down 2 over 3, because notice I have this negative sign. I could also switch it and make the 2 positive and the 3 negative. Up 2, backwards 3. Up 2, backwards 3. It'd still be on that same line. Okay, problem number 4, I had to divide both sides by 2, so I got 5 over 2 plus 3, and this is where I told you to leave it improper, don't turn it into a mixed number. Start our y-intercept at 3, up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2, and so on. Okay, please take a look at teacher example 3. What is the equation of the line shown in the graph? So we have our graph with our points. Now we need to find the m and the b. The b is easy. Obviously it crosses right the y-axis at 2, so the b is going to be positive 2. The rise over the run is a little tougher. I'm rising up 2, but I'm moving backwards 1. So that means I would have -2 over 1, and I believe it's this box here. And again, it doesn't matter where you put the negative sign. And that's going to simplify into a nice -2. So remember, if it simplifies into a whole number, you want to do that. If not, you could have left it improper. But this one, of course, I can simplify. So y equals -2x plus 2. My b is 2, and then my slope is rising up 2, backwards 1. Okay. Go ahead and try these out for yourself. Write an equation of the line passing through the points. What I recommend you do is graph them. That might be the easiest way. Remember the b, the y-intercept. It crosses the y-axis when the x is 0. So anytime you see the x is 0, that will help you. But again, I would graph them to help you keep track of it. Go ahead and press play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, let's take a look. To find my slope, I can use my formula. Okay, so my m is 2, and then the b is obviously 3, because when x is 0, y is 3. So y equals 2x plus 3. Here, when x is 0, y is 0, so the b is nothing. There is no b. And now to find the slope, I use my slope formula. 1 minus 0, -4 minus 0, 1 over -4, which is -1/4. Okay, and notice I have y equals -1/4 x plus, I didn't write plus anything because there's nothing to write. Okay, if you had written plus 0, it would be okay, but you do want to finish it and take it one more step farther and get rid of that, because you always want to simplify all the way. Okay, here my b is -4. Now I can plug my numbers into my formula for slope, and I ended up with 7 over 1, which is just 7. So I would have plus -4, which of course I want to simplify all the way and make it -4. Okay, so please find the slope and the y-intercept. In Schoology, you'll be plugging in m. It'll say m equals blank. That, of course, is the slope. And b equals blank, which, of course, is the y-intercept. Be careful on number 2. You do need to fix this order. It is out of order. Number 3, you will also need to change the order around, so watch out for those. Okay, have a great day.